Thank you for having me here, Pada, and thank you all for being such a wonderful audience already. Okay, so we'll skip my introduction because it's already been a flattering one has already been given. Do you want me to go up on stage or everyone can see me? Let me go up on stage, I think that'll be better. So, okay, that's me. These are the covers of my printed books. I've done many ebooks also. So, that's the Kunzum Travel Cafe community, which we call the face-to-face book of travel. We've been around since 2010, and the idea is that all of you come together and talk travel in an environment which is most welcoming. So, this is not a technical presentation. I'm not going to tell you how to build hacks on how to get 100,000 or a million followers. That's not the job I'm here for, because Instagram is not forever, and we will focus on first principles. The first principles, when I say that, what I'm implying is we stick to the basics. How does Instagram work? How does Facebook work? The principles remain the same, right? Whether there's Instagram today or not, but what I'm going to talk about today will work on any future social media platform. So let's talk Instagram for travel businesses. What we're going to talk about on Instagram today is very different on how Instagram is looked at and works for influencers, media, artists, travelers, enthusiasts. Because here, all of us in this room are here to sell travel. And that's the idea of what we're doing here. Some of you want to come this side if you can't see the presentation? Okay, cool. Yeah. And what's our goal? A higher brand equity and sales, period, for everybody in this room. And I think most of us are familiar with the 4 P's of marketing, but I'm going to focus primarily on the first P, which is the product. And your Instagram account, in this case, is your product. And what's the product all about? Attribute the content. And by the way, all the images you're seeing are images that I've taken during my travels across India and across the world. So in a way, I'm also doing content marketing as I'm talking to you about my own brand, right? So like I said, product is content, and it's all about content marketing, and that's what I'm going to focus on. And what makes for good, effective content? It's good storytelling. At the end of the day, you're all storytellers. You know, think about a bullet, or think about a gun. From the first gun that was ever made, and the most sophisticated computerized gun today, right? They all had one purpose: to shoot a bullet, right? So today, whatever you do, you know, whether it was the age of just print media or radio or television or Facebook or Google or Instagram, you name it, everything is only about one thing: you're telling a story. A single image or 1,000 words or a 2-hour documentary, they're all doing only one thing, and that is telling a story. If you aren't telling a story through your message, you're doing something wrong, right? It has to be visually appealing. Today we have the tools, we have the most sophisticated of cameras. Even an amateur can actually take great photos and great videos. It has to be authentic. It has to be authentic, and that is the key word. Because today's customer cannot be fooled. Because all they have to do is go on Google, go on social media, and call you out. Don't give them imagery that does not exist. Right? It has to be inspiring. It starts with inspiration. Every travel decision starts with inspiration, and that's when it goes back to good storytelling. It informs. You have to give information. You know, when to go, where to go, how to do, what to do, where to do, stuff like that. Basic information. And all that leads to a query and eventually a sale, if you do all this right. But before you get into all that, you also have to define target audience, because every content does not work for everyone. You have to figure who's your target audience. It's the most important thing. Who is your target audience? Are they millennials? Are they Americans? Are they in Europe? Are they people who are 60 plus? Is the median family income $100,000? Is it $50,000? You have to identify your demographic. You cannot sell everything to everyone, and that tool does not apply to any brand or any category in the world, ever, right? Where are they on the social media landscape? If you intend to use Instagram for marketing, is your audience on Instagram? If they are not, don't waste your time on Instagram, just because it's fashionable, right? What content will appeal to them? Create content that will appeal to them, otherwise they will get turned off, right? And why will they engage with you? When you create that content, these are very difficult questions. These require analysis, and unfortunately, when you go to most, no disrespect, but when you go to most consultants in the market, right, they will only tell you tactical stuff. Oh, let's put up this photo and let's put up this headline. No, you have to go back. You have to identify your audience. You have to identify what stories will resonate with them, and then start the content strategy, then start your Instagram strategy, because till you don't do all this groundwork, it will not work. I can tell you now, right? The other P is people, which is not covered in the classical 4 Ps of marketing, but people are extremely important to the business we are in. We are all in the people business. It's all about people, right? And invest in people to create content and engage. When I say invest in people to create content, these are people who could be your staff, professionals, your clients themselves, user-generated content, the media, the influencers, work with all of them. Every staffer of yours should be a storyteller. Why? Because they are the ones who are living the story 24/7 at your locations and with your clients. Give them some basic tools, give them some basic training on what makes for a good story. Capture every photo, capture every moment, and start archiving it and putting it out there, because they are the ones who are living it. They are your eyes and ears for everything that's happening, right? And for people to be effective, invest in high quality content. I have seen so many, for example, I've seen so many people setting up hotels, right? They'll spend $1 million setting up a hotel, but they will not spend $1,000 in getting a good photo bank for their property. It's $1 million property, but the photos are shoddy. You have a jungle lodge, you don't have a good photo of a tiger or a barking deer or the birds in your forest, you don't have good visuals. It costs $1,000. And many photographers like me, 10 years back, would come and say, oh, just host me and I'll do it for free also. It's so easy to create content. If you don't have good visuals, how are you going to sell your property? You spend $1 million in your business. What's another $1,000? Or even less than that, right? Give them basic training and edit and review content. Because quality filters have to be built in. You need to check your spellings, you need to check your grammar, you need to check for plagiarism, you need to check for copyright, and you need to check for privacy. If you're putting up photos of your clients, just make sure they don't get upset that why did you put up my photo? Things like that. Is your photo authentic? Is your photo real? Have you just start this picture of the net and put it up there? Don't do all that. There have to be quality filters. And whether it's your staff managing your social media or it's your agency managing your social media, tell them this is extremely important. I will not name the brand here, right? But sometime back, I suddenly saw this huge international brand running campaigns, and I saw a photo. I said, look, this looks familiar. And then I looked closely and I said, hey, that's my photo. But that photo could also have been taken by anybody else. But you know your own photos. The funny thing was, that photo was also the cover of my book. And they used that photo with my name, Ajay Jain, on that book, on that image. Right? I wanted to sue them. I actually wrote some letters and then I got busy with some personal issues. I still have to follow up with them. But they said, oh, it was a public interest campaign. I said, look, I'm not funding your public interest campaign. Right? And the company is Ford, by the way. I call them out. Ideas for content, right? Sneak peek or preview of new products and services. Tell your clients. Go behind the scenes. Show people how you're building that brand, that service. Show them what's happening behind the scenes. Show people behind the brand and the service, right? Ask people, challenge people to post with suitable hashtags and mentions, run contests, stuff like that. Right? Repost coverage or images or reviews that your clients and other stakeholders have already posted. Right? Do video tours. Capture testimonials by clients. Create tips and cheat sheets and mini guides for your clients. Do all that stuff. The content ideas are out there. You just have to do it. Right? So, and gather feedback and put it out there. For example, you'll quickly see this. This is posted by a lodge, by the way. Just user-generated content. The audio is gone somewhere, but that's okay. Now imagine, when this lodge posted this video, the number of queries they got further, hey, I want to see this. It's happening in the backyard of the lodge. Right? Now people say, show me the followers. Everybody's fixated with followers. So do I have 50,000 followers? Do I have 100,000 followers? That works for influencers who go to brands. They say, you know what, I've got 100,000 followers, doesn't matter what the quality is, but you pay me whatever, $2,000 or $5,000, $10,000 per post. But it does not work for you, right? Because, like I said, whether you have 1,000 followers or 100,000 followers, the important thing is, are they buying or are they not buying? Wait and greet the followers. Don't be in a rush. They'll come to you. Do the things right. They'll come to you. Right? What you want is real followers who engage and consider purchase. Right? Right? You don't want numbers that impress. It's not a vanity game for you guys. It's a vanity game for influencers. It's not a vanity game for you. You are in a business. Right? It's your bottom line. It's your top line. That's what matters. Right? Do not buy fake followers, because it will mess up your analytics and it will mess up your numbers. It will not work. Don't buy followers in your case. Influencers, unfortunately, are buying followers just to impress, but you don't need to. I'm repeating that again and again. Right? Just some quick tips to get followers organically. Follow accounts who are similar to yours. If you're running a jungle lodge, right, follow another jungle lodge which has got a lot of followers, right? So mention those guys when you're posting about them, or maybe you could follow a great writer or a great photographer whose followers actually are interested in wildlife. In the case of wildlife, right? Comment on those, comment on their posts so that people notice, hey, who's commenting? And people who comment on their comments. Right? Because they're the ones who are interested in wildlife, and they say, hey, who's this lost that is commenting? And they want to come and see who you are, and they might follow you. Right? So again, repost content of people who with key content who are great followers. So this is just like a little hack, but there are many more. But that's what the idea of today's talk. Hashtags matter because they help you with discoverability. People follow certain hashtags. For example, people who are interested in tiger tourism might just follow a hashtag, say tiger or something, right? So keep using the hashtag tiger and use some very popular hashtags. For example, if you're in the travel business, you could use a hashtag travel, because then probably there are tens of millions of posts with the word travel. But you could also use a very niche hashtag which has only maybe 100,000 posts, but those are being followed by a very niche audience. So you have to strike a little balance out there. Organic is healthy. Like I said, don't be in a rush. Content matters. Keep building great content, stay engaged, and invest in paid ads and boost those. They work. Do targeting. If you're looking for clientele in Toronto, right? You can do targeting. So people who are living in Toronto, following Instagram, they can see your posts. You can go down to that level of targeting. Be Instagrammable. Create spots in your properties, in your trips, because people travel more to get good photos than to actually see the locations nowadays, I believe. Everybody wants a great photo. You check outside, you're just standing outside. Everyone was taking photos. Hey, let's talk to each other. Stop taking photos. Look at the weather. No. We need to capture the weather in the photo. Right? So be Instagrammable, create spots, create a hashtag somewhere, create a lovely, like a little cutout which has your brand and your hashtag and your Twitter handle. People love to stand in a little frame and take a photo and post out there. Right? So do that. These are like little cheeky tricks for people to popularize your brand without you needing to pay them. Right? So give a shout out. Highlight your account everywhere. In your WhatsApp messages, in your emails, in your letterheads, in your whatever you send out, everywhere your Instagram handle should be clearly mentioned. Invite and follow clients, people who've already stayed with you. Write to them, tell them, hey, are you on Instagram? Why don't we follow each other? Right? So, and also engage with influencers. I play a dual role because I'm an influencer and a writer, but I also curate certain travel experiences, so I can speak for both sides. But over the years, when brands come to me and say, oh, we will pay you so much, will you put our post out? I said no. I do not charge money because I'm a journalist first. I said because if I charge you money, then I will be compromising on my journalistic integrity. But I'm the guy who's not liked by other influencers because I follow these old-fashioned journalistic principles. But don't go starry-eyed with numbers. Focus on what's the audience profile of those influencers and what's the quality of engagement. Build genuine engagement. If you want to advertise on their handles, do it with full disclosure. There's nothing wrong in it. Because if Nat Geo or Condé Nast is doing a feature on you, do you pay for an editorial feature? No, unless things change while I was sleeping. And because paid influencers can lie endlessly, right? And you will end up with disappointed clients. Because if you paid somebody to write something good about you, right? But it's not necessarily the true picture. Then when clients land up at your place, they're going to say, hey, that's not the true picture. Be honest. Nobody's perfect, and clients accept the brands who say, hey, we're not perfect. We have so and so deficiency. We give you hot water only 1 hour a day, but we will still charge you $1,000 a night. I've had that. I've stayed in camps in Kenya where you get 1 bucket of water, but they're charging around $1,000 a night. Fair enough, right? Shopping is coming. It's already come in certain markets, but it's going to come in all the markets eventually. You can actually create links on your Instagram post to take you directly to your website and create a shopping cart. Right? Shopping is coming. So if you build your Instagram account and your followers now, you can actually sell direct on Instagram. I read some of the terms. I think they're doing more physical products right now, but just a matter of time before you can pretty much sell everything, product or service on Instagram. So be ready for it. And closing remarks, set up a business account when you do your Instagram account. Invest time. There's no shortcut to having a good Instagram account than investing time. You have to invest time. Be persistent. Results will not come overnight. Don't be a pest. Don't keep spamming people. Don't be after them. Think long term. And there's more to life than Instagram.